and it can be a plague in the organization because that behavior is modeled. It's if a manager or leader is not making decisions, no one is going to make decisions. And why make decisions? Because that means that I can get blamed for something, or there's a downside to making. There's risks in making decisions, and those leaders and managers who don't make decisions often are risk averse and they're wishy-washy. And I hope that they don't last long. Can you imagine? I mean, imagine Steve Jobs saying whatever, or I mean,
yeah, no.
I mean, name a leader that we had. Warren Buffett. I mean, Bill Gates. I mean, I don't know, but imagine a leader that we admire saying whatever. No, one of the interviews I did for the book that I so enjoyed was a guy named Michael Huerta, and Michael had been the administrator, the king of the Federal Aviation Administration. He had 160,000 air traffic controllers working for him. So I talked to him about the word. It took him a while. He said, I can't imagine. Can you imagine a pilot talking to an air traffic controller and should I runway left or runway right? And whatever. No. And he also talked about how part of, I think what you're talking about, David, is measures also. And he said that they had a very simple measure at the FAA, and that was, did the same number of planes land that day that took off that day? And that was a simple measure. And if the answer was yes, it was a good day. If the answer was no, it was a terrible day. And I think measures and accountability are a big part of what we're talking about in whatever as well.
Well, I noticed in chapter 5 called Leaders, Managers, and Everyone Else, you actually say the road to success is paved with risk. Mm-hmm. And so talk to me about how do you help someone who's adverse to risk? So they're an analytical, they're detail-oriented, or they're process-oriented. They just felt like change. And, so on the analytical, detail-oriented person, they might be a perfectionist. So it's like, I don't want to take a risk if it's working. The other person who's really process-oriented, very settled in, comfortable on the DISC scale would be a high S. They just don't like change. Why should I change? It's working.
Yeah.
How do you get them to stop saying whatever?
Yeah. One of the things I found, and it was consistent, is that the larger the organization, the more likely it is that there's whatevers in the organization.
Yeah.
Because why bother? You're stuck. But when it comes to risk, one of the things that someone that I interviewed pointed out to me was that there almost is always 3 different options for any leader. Lots of leaders will say, I have so many options I can't choose. The truth is there's 3. And the first, door number 1, is as is. No change, nothing will go. It is rare that that's acceptable in an organization. That's a rare, if you're not moving forward, then you're stuck and you're moving backward. So as is not usually an option. Option door number 3, way out here, is go crazy, fire everybody, change everything, do this, do that, burn the place down, start all over. People don't choose that either. So now we're in door number 2 and all of its nuances. And I think as we look at the options to change and how that can be reflected in our choices, that's where the nub is. And that's how you get people out of saying, whatever, we don't need to change anything. The answer to that always is, yes, we'd always need to change something. In fact, when you're being successful, it's always the best time to change something.
Oh, yeah. And I kind of came up with a model that I call CRT, which is low cost, low amount of resources, low amount of time. So you can implement that lean startup model.
Yeah.
Where you test something, you just do a piece of it. Well, if you say we don't have to change, then can we change this one thing? I think this might make a difference.
Yeah.
Or can we change part of it and see and try to help those people learn how change is more positive? I don't think there's training on that.
There isn't. And I talk about that there's, we can take, sophisticated college classes on organic chemistry and calculus 3, but nowhere is there any decision-making classes taught even in high school. It's just not part of the curriculum, and it's a shame.